Gavin Wendt, founding director and senior resource analyst at MineLife, and he joins us on the line from Sydney. And Gavin, I mean, for the fourth time, the IPO has been pulled. Are you surprised by this?
Well, in a way, not. It is surprising, of course, that any large, ambitious corporate listing of this type should fail not once, not twice, but ultimately 4 times. But on the other hand, am I surprised? Well, no, not really. I mean, we've unfortunately, the whole Resourcehouse saga has been very much an unfortunate one, and given the track record of failed attempts over recent times, and given the market uncertainty and volatility that's around at the current time, no, it doesn't surprise me that the issue has been pulled, and to be quite frank, I don't think it surprises too many people in the market.
Okay, well, what about the business of Resourcehouse itself? I mean, they had to reduce its holdings. They were going to raise initially about $3.5 billion. They then looked to maybe $2.5 billion, and they had to keep contracting that price range. Initially, they were trying to sell shares at over 4 Hong Kong dollars a piece, 3.45, and there weren't that many takers. I mean, what does that say about the market interest in Resourcehouse?
Well, yeah, it's a very good question, and we've got a very direct comparison with the recent float, of course, of Glencore, which floated, of course, during the same difficult market circumstances as we're seeing now. The IPO listing price wasn't fantastic, but of course Glencore is a very well-managed, high-quality business that's going to be a very good investment over the medium to longer term. I think one of the issues with regards to Resourcehouse, of course, is that it doesn't generate any earnings. It's not going to be doing so for probably the next 3 to 4 years. And I think conceptually, a lot of Asian investors, a lot of Hong Kong investors have difficulty getting their minds around paying such a large chunk of money for a company that isn't generating any immediate earnings. And, you make the point that the company has had to revise the amount of money that they're looking at and the pricing. I think the overall raising and the pricing still very much need attention. I think the issue was too expensive, and to be quite frank, I think they were looking to raise too much money, particularly given current market circumstances.
Okay, well, Gavin, one more question for you. Do you think Resourcehouse and Clive Palmer is going to try the markets once again for a 5th attempt?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for him, of course, because, it's all about credibility, and there are going to be a lot of investors, a lot of disenchanted investors that would have subscribed to previous attempts, and also those investors that are watching from the sidelines. Look, at the end of the day, if the assets are good enough, it really shouldn't matter too much about the market circumstances. As we've seen with Glencore, it's a matter of trimming pricing, maybe looking at the amount of money that's going to be raised. I think Clive will probably have to look at more closely at debt funding, and whatever advice I think the company has been getting, it's either been very poor or perhaps the company hasn't been listening to that advice. But certainly it's going to be a tough road to hoe for the company, given I guess the failed attempts and the damage to its credibility so far.
Thanks, Gavin, for sharing your thoughts this morning. Gavin Wendt, founding director of MineLife, joining us on the line from Sydney.